Have you ever wondered, does God have a plan for my life?
What happens when that plan doesn't look or feel right to you?
Yeah, that's a really big deal. Well, first of all, there's an ancient writing that says really great statements that really help us know that there is indeed a plan for our lives. Like this one ancient statement. It says, God speaking to us, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you." There's another statement. Before one of your days came into being, God says, I ordained or made a plan for each of those days. So right there we know from ancient writings that there is indeed a specific plan for each one of us.
You know, I remember a time in my life when I knew that I had a call on my life, and yet I made a different choice that took me in a different direction. And once I went in that direction, all of a sudden it didn't align with the plan that I knew was right for my life. And I had to take a journey, a kind of a detour, a U-turn, and get back on the path. Things were chaotic in my life for a period of time, and then finally I came back into alignment with the true plan for my life. And once I did that, everything began to click. So there was a chaotic time in my life, but I had stepped outside of those ordained steps.
Well, I think the chaos is one of the greatest things that God allows in our life. And I know that's a crazy statement because, I mean, who likes chaos? But the chaos is there. And here's our most important point so far, because we've got several other points, and the end point won't make sense until we hear the first one. So hang with us and get all the points you can today, because at the very end, we're going to sum it up for you. But here's the point. If we can reframe chaos, if we can put it back into the context of God's plan for our life, we can know this, that when it doesn't feel right on the inside, it's because perhaps we've gotten off of that perfect path that's already been determined and set for us by a God who loves us and knows what is best for us.
You know, I think of the ancient story about Abraham. And Abraham was in a familiar place. He was in his father's house, and then he gets the call. How exciting for him. Now he gets to step into his real destiny, his planned destiny. And yet it says that he was called to leave everything familiar to him. Now, a lot of times when we step into what we've really been called to do, all of a sudden, the chaos begins to ensue. But if we will take and use that chaos as a catalyst to propel us into what we're really called to do, we will find that even though it's unfamiliar, things begin to click and make sense for us internally.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So when we're in that place of chaos, here's the second point. Are you ready for this? Questions come up. Am I doing the right thing? Should I make this choice? Again, a reframe, because a lot of times, and I know I'm guilty of this, those questions are really can be kind of throw me off center. But the questions are good, because if we'll ask the question and then turn to look at the answer that is always present when the question arises. Do you know that from God's point of view to humanity, when the question is asked, the answer is there also? Amen. But if I'm focused only on the question, I don't see the answer. I know for me, I had a very similar experience. Here I was 30 years old in my life. I was a businesswoman. I had a couple of businesses, making a good, steady income, living the traditional American life. And then I had a time where I set myself apart to just pray and seek God's face and just make sure that, everything was good. And lo and behold, during that time, questions came up in my heart. Is there more for me? Am I fulfilling my plan? Because I remembered those ancient texts. Well, as soon as I asked the questions, the answers became very clear that there was more for me. And I think that's true for you as well. All that is right now in your life is a gift, because that ancient text says they are plans to prosper you, not to harm you. And as I realized the answer to those questions, is there more? Should I be doing this? Is there another venture? My life turned upside down. I literally left my country, moved to Jerusalem, and began to pursue another career, which is where I am today. So, what are we saying here? Point number 3. Are you ready for this? The chaos is a good thing. It gets your attention and tells you that maybe you're not in perfect alignment with your true identity, with the path that will bring you the greatest prosperity. So then we get to ask number 2, the questions, which are also good. And if we remember, when we ask the question, the answer is present. To open up to those answers, it brings us to the place of remembering our life as it was is wonderful and great, but the plan that God has is so much more. And the good news is there's always more for us.
I like what you say, Yana, because you can take the chaos
Yeah.
and focus on that, and things will remain chaotic. Or you can shift your focus from the chaos to the answer, and the answer will begin to manifest.
That's what the ancient texts say also. Abraham, this guy of old, did just that. And he left his family, his country, his customs, his culture, and moved to a place where he had no idea really what to expect. And that's true, just like in my story of leaving my parents' house. And maybe you all have been there too, that it's time for college, or it's time to get married, or you're married and now one of you has a new job and you have to move somewhere, or maybe as a single, a new job in a new state or even a new country. The point is this: God has a plan for your life. Amen. He loves you, and it is a plan to prosper you. So when the inside is a little worried about that, just turn your face to the one who loves you more than you've ever understood, and you'll know the answer.
Listen, I hope that you're enjoying these videos. We want you to hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, let us know how you're enjoying these. We look forward to seeing you the next time. For now, we are
the Hebrew Sisters.